So Jacob, what have you learned throughout your high school experience? What have you learned so far during high school?
Overall, I think the biggest thing I've learned during high school is the fact that I'm good at and that I love learning. I've always sort of assumed that schools come to me because I've been lucky enough to have some oddly specific talent pertaining solely to school. But what I think is more accurate is that I'm just lucky enough to actually enjoy learning and picking up new skills. In tandem with this, I found that I'm entirely capable of being successful so long as I'm intentional about what I'm doing. I've never been particularly talented at gymnastics, but I've learned that I can mostly control my achievements in the sport by being intentional about the way I practice and compete. A lot of the time this means doing things in a way that's not necessarily the standard way, but in a way that works best for me.
So what would you say you've learned during your time in high school?
I've learned how effort is truly everything. I started high school as a coaster who was just good at everything she tried, and then I got majorly humbled by honors geometry. And I was just so confused why things weren't coming easily anymore. But then I realized you only get what you put into things. So I just really started working for what I got. And so while this lesson was really helpful to my grades, it was also incredibly helpful and applicable to the rest of my life. I joined theater as a sophomore, and I took on a bunch of extra responsibilities, and it ended up with me being co-president of ITS and a lead role in multiple productions. So my work ethic is one of my greatest accomplishments, and I know that the saying is good things happen to those who wait, but I think the best thing is actually good things happen to those who work.
So Jacob, how have you changed?
My clothes. I would say the biggest area in which I've changed as a person is the way that I experience my relationships with others and kind of meet them where they are. Starting in freshman year and continuing since, I'd say I've grown to be a lot more vulnerable and emotionally receptive of others. I've never been unempathetic of others per se, but I've learned to actually genuinely appreciate and authentically respond to how others are feeling. I've also opened my mind to a much broader range of experiences since freshman year. Now I'd say I have a much more diverse catalog of music and movies and content of all genres that I enjoy. And I'd like to point out that this is all mainly thanks to a certain special someone.
So how would you say you've changed during high school?
Well, somehow, and I know this sounds incredibly cliche, I've changed in every way, but also not at all. I'm still the same girl who entered high school anxious and hoping that people would like her, and I still have the same selfless heart that prioritizes empathy and kindness, and I'm still definitely a people pleaser. But I've developed a backbone over the past few years. I have the confidence to stand up for myself and for others, but also I've gained the ability to stand up to my own mind. I have confidence that my underclassmen self could have never dreamed of, and this is largely because of the confidence that's been instilled in me by those closest to me. And so now that I have a better self-perception, I also see the world in a much more positive, optimistic light, and I really like that.
So who have you become?
I've become a confident, detail-oriented person who's ultimately looking forward to the future. I've always trusted myself and been a firm believer that if I can control a situation, then I can create a positive outcome for myself, and if I can't, then I'll be able to make the best of it, and ultimately, we'll have nothing to worry about. I think I owe this mentality in a large part to the invaluable gymnastics coaches I've had over the years. Each have encompassed some sort of idiosyncratic but similar philosophies, and have made the effort to make sure that my teammates and I walk away from the sport with more than just skills. I also believe that I've grown into a much more team-oriented person, and I can only really attribute this trait to my time in choir. Both of my previous teachers, Mr. Blue and Miss Saletta, have left lasting impressions on me about my ability to lead and my ability to participate as part of a collaborative effort.
Who would you say you've become during your time here in high school?
Well, I'd say that I have progressively grown into a true leader throughout my time as an upperclassman. I've always been a leader, not a follower, but over the past few years, I've really become someone that people look up to and can also feel comfortable coming to help and for guidance. So that makes me extremely happy, because being a true leader is less than just telling people what to do, and it's more stepping in to help, and it's making sure that everyone within your realm is safe, included, and cared for. And then also in high school, I'm just really proud that I've become a genuinely happy individual. I treasure each and every moment of my life because happiness has become defined with singing in the choir and chatting in the car and long dance rehearsals filled with laughter that turn into a beautiful finished project. It's hanging out with Jacob and hugging my family, and I'm just so happy that I have escaped the darkness of the past and immersed myself in the positive of the present.
where do you hope to go?
Not super surprisingly, I really look forward to teaching and coaching someday. I love working with kids, and teachers and coaches have been integral to learning about myself and growing into who I am today. I hope to teach high school math, mainly because it's the universal least favorite subject, and I'd like to do what I can to prevent students from feeling that way in my class. I'd like to help students gain confidence in their abilities, and ultimately I can only pray that I can achieve the status of being a likable math teacher. Ultimately, I know that it's what will genuinely make me happiest. Overall, I think my biggest hope for my future is that I can have the confidence and the self-knowledge to always do whatever it is that truly makes me happy.
So, where do you hope to go?
Well, I look forward going to University of Michigan, where I will study biology to hopefully become a pediatrician one day. It's a little ironic because I always used to hate going to the doctor because I was really afraid of needles and shots, but my past loathing inspires me now, so I plan to be the doctor that they actually look forward to seeing, who will greet them with a smile, help them with their fear, and ultimately make them feel better. But, you know, just overall, I want to be happy. I want to continue to surround myself with amazing people who make me happy. And I found my happiness in high school, and I hope to continue searching for things that make me happy in college. So that's me.
See you in the fall.